When we talk about cybernetic implants, I guarantee you that most will probably correlate it to any sci-fi pop culture reference. Cyberpunk, Black Mirror, Terminator. Cybernetic implants, especially what we see in fiction, sci-fi, fantasy, and media, blur the line between enhancement and control. And it uses narrative to paint it as something that's dangerous. A Pandora's box that could explode should we use it without caution. And this in turn makes us question about how far humanity should go into altering itself. But in actuality, for millions of real people, especially in this day of age, implants aren't just science fiction. They aren't some tech used to exploit, nor are they military upgrades, well, at least not yet. They're medical lifelines. In the Philippines, some of the least diagnosed, least researched, and least treated medical challenges include neurological disorders such as Parkinson's, epilepsy, dystonia, dementia, and more. For example, studies have shown that Parkinson's disease roughly affects like 0.55% of the population, consistent nationwide. But for some reason, this is often unrecognized because of a lack of neurologists, diagnostic tools, and public awareness. So today, we turn to a new frontier in medicine, one that sounds like sci-fi but has already helped change thousands of lives worldwide, including the ones in the Philippines. A technology that doesn't really rewrite your reality, but it rewires your brain. Deep brain stimulation. Here we'll be discussing what it is, how it evolved to its present state, the future and potential it could bring, as well as how the media views this kind of technology, especially in the Philippines.
Deep brain stimulation, or DBS for short, is one of the most remarkable breakthroughs in modern neurology, being a beacon of hope for individuals suffering from any movement or neurological disorders that once left them immobile or isolated. But what does the treatment actually do? Well, DBS uses implanted electrodes to deliver controlled electrical pulses to specific regions of the brain responsible for motor function. These pulses then regulate abnormal signals, restoring balance to disrupted neural circuits. The DBS apparatus comes in three main parts: the electrodes, the extension cable, and the implantable pulse generator. Beginning with the electrodes or the leads of the equipment, they are thin insulated wires that have metal tips which are inserted to the problematic areas of the brain, while the extension cables are tunneled under the skin, starting from the patient's head, down to their neck, then to their chest. The extension cables also connect the brain electrodes to the pulse generator, which is a battery-powered device that is in charge of creating controlled electrical pulses. In scenarios where a patient is suffering from Parkinson's disease, dystonia or tremors, which leave the individual with involuntary muscle or stiffness, DBS is used to target the subthalamic nucleus, globus pallidus internus, and the ventral intermediate nucleus of the thalamus. These sections of the brain that are in charge of movement and coordination are then affected by precise electrical pulses from a pulse generator, modulating abnormal nerve activity while also resetting the brain's motor circuits back to its natural rhythm. In fact, according to a clinical study in 2021, many patients who underwent this treatment at the Philippine General Hospital and Medical City have reported that their tremors have mostly subsided as well as regaining their natural body coordination after going through the treatment. When it comes to the history of DBS in the Philippines, the product became more well known in 2013, with the Philippine General Hospital and the University of the Philippine College of Medicine performing the first DBS procedures in the country. With the technical support of Medtronic's Asia Pacific program, Filipino patients who were battling movement disorders were given an opportunity towards a life that no longer hindered their ability to move freely. Soon after, leading private institutions such as the Medical City and Makati Medical Center began offering similar operations, but only to a few carefully selected patients. Now, in the early years of the apparatus being used, the promise of DBS treatment came with a tough reality check. The treatment was extremely expensive. The total cost of a single operation could range from 1.8 to 2.5 million pesos, while its cases were reported to be less than 50, most of which were concentrated at PGH and the Medical City. Figures like these were reported in medical coverage by ABS-CBN News and Inquire Health, which described DBS as an incredible but costly breakthrough. To most Filipinos, the price tag alone was simply out of reach. Additionally, the procedure's rarity also meant that the country had only a handful of qualified neurosurgeons and neurologists trained to perform such delicate operations. This shortage resulted in long waiting lists and limited accessibility, especially for patients living outside Metro Manila. But those years were far from wasted. Every surgery, every case study, and every patient story helped build the foundation for what DBS has become today. The teams at PGH and the Medical City continued to train, conduct workshops, and collaborate with international experts. Their work essentially contributed to the steadily growing practice that would come to define neurological care in the country. As of 2024, local neurologists estimate that over 120 DBS procedures have been successfully performed nationwide, with the majority carried out at the Medical City, St. Luke's Medical Center, and PGH.
Here's a concerning reality in the Philippines. Research shows that Parkinson's disease prevalence in the Philippines still sits below 1%, consistent with national estimates. However, a community-based study based in Barangay Mangilog Sur, Quezon Province, revealed something a bit troubling. The disease remains severely underdiagnosed. As for the reason, limited access to neurologists and diagnostic tools, particularly in rural areas where a lot of Filipinos live. So the Philippine government has actually begun taking steps forward. The Department of Science and Technology launched NeuroMap PH, the country's first project integrating advanced multimodal neuroimaging systems for localized diagnostic protocols. This initiative aims to build infrastructure and enhance local expertise in creating effective treatment strategies, aligning with the mental health law to ensure this neurological technology serves the public good. Additionally, the UST's Biomedical Devices Engineering for Health program is funding research into locally developed, safe, and affordable biomedical devices, which signals to us that the government has actually had a commitment towards the furthering of the technological advancement in healthcare. The advancement of scientific research directly impacts our ability to heal and care for our people, and this is especially true in healthcare tech. For the Philippines to truly embrace advanced treatments like deep brain stimulation, we need comprehensive epidemiological data, specialized healthcare infrastructure, and increased investment in research and development. We have the clinical evidence that DBS works for Filipino patients. We have government initiatives pointing in the right direction too. What we need now is sustained commitment to research productivity, improved access to neurological care, even just beyond urban centers, and the infrastructure to support both diagnosis and treatment nationwide.
The next chapter in this story belongs not just to neurosurgeons, but to policymakers, insurance providers, and the community. We must ensure a sustained national commitment to research productivity and to the expansion of specialized neurological care far beyond the walls of Metro Manila. Deep brain stimulation offers more than just a medical fix. It offers a return to normalcy by tackling the challenges of accessibility and affordability head-on. The Philippines can ensure that this beacon of hope shines not just for privileged few, but for every Filipino battling a neurological disorder. The power to rewire the brain is here. Now, we must commit to extending that power to every corner of the nation. The journey of deep brain stimulation in the Philippines, from an expensive, rare procedure to a growing standard of care, is truly a testament to the resilience of Filipino medical professionals and the desperation of patients seeking relief. We have established that the technology works. DBS is not science fiction. It is a clinical reality that can significantly reduce involuntary movements, lessen the stigma patients face, and restore quality of life. The clinical evidence is clear. Filipino patients respond remarkably well, regaining mobility, independence, and the dignity that neurological disorders often steal away. However, the reality remains that for most Filipinos, a life-altering procedure like DBS is still a distant hope, not an accessible option. The high cost, coupled with the concentration of specialists in urban centers, creates a barrier we must dismantle. But change is happening. The government's commitment, evidenced by initiatives like NeuroMap PH and research funding from the Department of Science and Technology, signals a crucial alignment towards using neurological technology for the public good. These steps are laying the groundwork for the robust research, data collection, and diagnostic infrastructure the country urgently needs.